If you want people to value you, stop begging for it. You don't get respect by asking, you get it by showing. And the truth is, most people don't respect you because you've trained them not to. Every time you over-explained, every time you said yes when you meant no, every time you laughed when you were uncomfortable, you told them exactly who you were, a man willing to shrink himself just to be accepted. But here's the catch. People don't value what's too available. They don't listen to what's always talking. They don't respect what doesn't respect itself. If you're tired of being overlooked, if you're done being treated like you're optional, then stay with this. Subscribe now if you're serious about reclaiming your value. This isn't about games or manipulation. This is about understanding human nature and positioning yourself accordingly. Let's begin. Think about the people who command respect without demanding it. The ones whose presence shifts the energy in a room. They're not the loudest. They're not constantly seeking approval. They understand a fundamental truth. Value is perceived, not declared. You can't convince someone you're valuable by telling them. You demonstrate it through how you move, how you speak, and most importantly, what you refuse to tolerate. If you want them to value your presence, master your absence. If you want them to hear your words, speak less of them. If you want them to chase you, move like a man who doesn't need to be chased. Because power is not proven through noise, it's revealed through restraint. The most powerful men you've ever known, you remember them not for what they always said, but for what they never had to say. Their silence carried weight, their boundaries were clear. Their time was valuable because they treated it that way. Now look at yourself honestly. How often do you explain yourself to people who haven't earned an explanation? How often do you justify your choices to those who have no stake in your decisions? Every unnecessary explanation is a reduction in your value. Every time you justify yourself to someone who doesn't respect you, you're confirming that you need their approval. Stop trying to convince people. Start controlling what you tolerate. Control your attention. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have. If you're placing it on people who don't reciprocate, who take you for granted, who only reach out when they need something, you're watering weeds and wondering why your garden looks dead. Withdraw your attention from those who don't value it, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because a man who gives his time and energy to everyone becomes valuable to no one. Control your reactions. The moment someone realizes they can get a reaction from you, anger, defensiveness, the need to explain yourself, they have power over you. But when you remain calm, when you refuse to react to provocations, when you can hear criticism and not immediately defend yourself, you retain your power. This doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you become selective about what deserves your emotional energy. Control your time. If people can access you whenever they want, if you're always available, always saying yes, always rearranging your life to accommodate theirs, they will never value your time. Why would they? You've shown them it's cheap. The man whose calendar is full, whose commitments are firm, whose time must be scheduled, that man's time is valuable. Not because he's playing games, but because he actually has priorities and he protects them. Because the moment you set the standard, you stop being optional. You stop being the backup plan. You stop being the maybe. You become the one they have to adjust to. But you don't get there by being loud. You get there by being clear. Clear about who you are. Clear about what you will and won't accept. Clear about your boundaries. And then enforcing those boundaries without explanation, without apology, without negotiation. Most men struggle here because they think boundaries need to be justified. They think saying no requires a lengthy explanation. But when you do that, you're asking permission. You're submitting your boundary for approval. A real boundary doesn't need justification. No is a complete sentence. That doesn't work for me requires no elaboration. You can't expect to be taken seriously if you keep acting like a man desperate to be liked. Desperate energy repels respect. When people sense you need their approval, when they see you bending yourself into shapes to fit their expectations, when they watch you shrink to make them comfortable, they lose respect for you. Pull back, not as a strategy to manipulate, but as a reclamation of yourself. Pull back your energy from relationships that drain you. Pull back your time from people who waste it. Pull back your words from conversations that lead nowhere. Don't explain. You don't owe everyone access to your reasoning. When you make a decision, make it. Then move forward. Let people wonder. Let them question. Their confusion about your choices is not your responsibility to resolve. Don't justify. Justification implies you need permission. It implies your choice isn't valid until someone else agrees it's reasonable. But you're not a child asking permission. You're a grown man making decisions for your own life. Act like it. Don't beg. For attention, for time, for respect, for anything. The moment you beg, you've already lost. Because begging communicates that you believe what you're asking for is more than you deserve. Let your silence become the pressure. When you stop filling every gap in conversation, when you stop explaining yourself into oblivion, when you stop being so available, your silence creates space. And in that space, other people start to wonder. They start to realize they might have taken you for granted. Your silence becomes more powerful than any argument you could make. Let your boundaries become the filter. The right people will respect them. The wrong people will reveal themselves by how they react to being told no. When you set a boundary and someone respects it immediately, without guilt-tripping you, without testing it, that's someone worth keeping around. When someone argues, manipulates, or makes you feel unreasonable, that's someone showing you exactly who they are. Believe them, and you'll realize you never had to force people to value you. You just had to stop giving discounts. You were undervaluing yourself, offering your time at clearance prices, running constant sales on your attention and energy, and then wondering why people treated you like a bargain bin item. Value isn't created by convincing people you're valuable. Value is created by treating yourself as valuable and letting others either match that energy or exit your life. This channel is not for men who want to be liked. It's for men who want to be respected. Being liked means being agreeable, accommodating, easy. Being respected means being clear, boundaried, selective. If you're done shrinking, if you're done explaining yourself into exhaustion, if you're done being the backup plan, then start walking like you know your worth. Start moving through the world like a man who has options, like a man whose time is limited and therefore precious, like a man who doesn't need everyone to understand him. Because the right people will see your value without you having to explain it, and the wrong people wouldn't see it no matter how much you explained. So stop wasting your energy on the wrong people and start investing it in becoming the kind of man the right people naturally respect.